everyone, you're watching News Epicenter with me, Maria Shakil. Speculation is rife that all is not well in the BJP JDU alliance in Bihar. Top JDU sources have told CNN News 18 that Nitish Kumar is ready to part ways. The JDU has also called a key meeting of all its MLAs, MLCs and MPs in Patna at 11 a.m. tomorrow. The Bihar Congress has also asked all its MLAs to be present in Patna. So has the instruction gone from the RJD side. All eyes are on the developments in the Bihar political potboiler in the next 24 to 48 hours. Remember, it was in 2017 when Nitish Kumar snapped ties with the RJD to ally with the BJP, claiming he was protecting his carefully crafted image of Sushasan Babu from the taint of corruption and Jungle Raj of Lalu Rabdi regime. However, in the next elections in 2020, the JDU became the little partner or the younger brother in that alliance with the BJP. Nitish Kumar's party won just 43 seats out of 115 seats they contested, while the BJP won 74 out of 110 they contested. The BJP dominated the cabinet formation, ensuring it got both the deputy chief minister's berths, including the post of the speaker. In fact, after the BJP sweep in the Lok Sabha elections in 2019, the BJP ally was given one ministerial berth despite its demand for two. Now the JDU has said it will not join the union cabinet in the next expansion. Sources also say that Nitish camp is unhappy with the projection of the state as a terror haven after the PFI terror cell was busted in the state. Sources say Nitish Kumar fears his political capital is waning as the BJP has become a formidable force in the state of Bihar. Remember, he snapped ties with the BJP in 2013, just ahead of the 2014 Modi wave, and then returned to the power in Bihar with the RJD in the 2015 elections. Nitish Kumar is known for his twists and turns and is often said that Nitish Kumar seeks political relevance. That has always been his prime agenda. The question remains, are we set to witness another switch by the Bihar Chief Minister? Before I get the guests, here's how the drama unfolded today.
It's an alliance that was always an uneasy one. But now, the JDU-BJP pact in Bihar could be at the point of no return. The divide deepened after Union Minister RCP Singh quit Nitish Kumar's JDU over the weekend, accusing his own party of corruption. Ahead of his resignation, Nitish Kumar had refused to extend Singh's term of his Rajya Sabha seat, which meant he had to resign as a union minister.
चुनाव में खिलाफ काम किया, सब लोग महिमा मंडित हो रहे। जो चुनाव लड़ा, मुख्यमंत्री का उम्मीदवार बन के घूमा, वो सब महिमा मंडित हो रहा। और हमको बता रहा कूट संपत्ति, हमारा संपत्ति तो मैं बता ही दिया। हमारा संपत्ति तो ये बता दे कहीं पर संपत्ति।
Then the JDU accused BJP of two conspiracies to weaken Nitish Kumar's government: the Chirag model and RCP Singh being a proxy for Amit Shah.
एक मॉडल इस्तेमाल किया गया था 2020 के विधानसभा के चुनाव में, चिराग मॉडल, और दूसरा चिराग मॉडल तैयार किया जा रहा था। लेकिन कभी अगर होगा आगे तब बताएंगे कि षड्यंत्र कहां-कहां हुआ और कैसे-कैसे हुआ।
उन्होंने खुद से कहा है कि अमित शाह जी से उनकी बातचीत हुई। अमित शाह जी ने उनको कहा कि आप ही के नाम पर सहमति है। अरे भाई, भारतीय जनता पार्टी तय करेगा कि जदयू का कौन मंत्री होगा। तो अगर जदयू का मंत्री भारतीय जनता पार्टी तय कर रहा था तो ये तो मालूम है ना कि आप क्या कर रहे थे।
The same person is trying to create Chirag model too. Having said, I think you should stop using my name to target Bharatiya Janata Party. You should come out and open and target Bharatiya Janata Party and say that they are the one.
To register his protest, Nitish Kumar has skipped 4 key meetings called by the centre in a month, including Prime Minister's meeting with all chief ministers on Sunday. He claimed he was unwell, but was present at 2 government functions in Patna.
हर मीटिंग में मुख्यमंत्री जी शामिल हो ही यह भी कोई आवश्यक नहीं होता।
What's playing on Nitish Kumar's mind is whether BJP will go the Maharashtra way. Uddhav Thackeray's government fell after a rebellion which was meticulously planned and implemented by the BJP. To plan his next move, Nitish Kumar has called a meeting of his party's MLAs.
कल बैठक में क्या होती है मैं ये नहीं कह सकता हूँ, जरूर लगता है कुछ न कुछ भूचाल आएगा।
Waiting in the wings is the RJD. They are the single largest party in Bihar now. Nitish Kumar had teamed up with the RJD and Congress in 2013 when he broke away from the BJP the first time around. Nitish Kumar has also called Congress President Sonia Gandhi. The combined strength of JDU, RJD and the Congress is large enough to form the government. But will Nitish Kumar pull the plug on his alliance with the BJP again?
So let me bring in my guests at this hour. Dr. Anshul Avijit is the spokesperson of the Congress. Sanjay Kumar, professor and former director of CSDS. Mayank Kumar Sinha is JDU leader. Chandrachud Singh is political analyst. Naveen Upadhyay is political editor. Both the BJP and the RJD has refused to participate in discussions. Perhaps they are seeing this as a very fluid situation in Bihar, and everybody is waiting and watching Nitish Kumar's next move. Sanjay Kumar, does Nitish actually have a plan? Because of the multiple U-turns that he has done, can he really have an exit plan?
I don't know what you mean by plan. If the plan is about forming the government, is the plan about how to contest 2024 or is the plan about how to contest 2025? I think the immediate plan seems to be, he seems to be very disturbed, I would say angry, which he doesn't want to express. The way BJP has been treating Nitish Kumar and JDU right from the day 2020 assembly election was contested. The way Chirag Paswan was, planted against JDU, he contested lots of seats against JDU, and Nitish Kumar has been unhappy, rather angry soon after the results came out, which resulted in Nitish Kumar.
Sanjay Kumar, I mean, what do we really mean by saying that he has been treated in a way? The fact is that he did not get numbers, and still he continues as the chief minister and the face of this alliance. So if anything, he should be thankful to the BJP that he is face of this alliance, in which the BJP has numerical strength and is the big brother.
Yes, factually what you have said is right. BJP is a bigger party compared to JDU. Still Nitish Kumar was supported as the chief minister. But I think there is a way you treat your ally. You make Nitish Kumar as the chief minister. I think that was at that moment BJP had no choice, because the large number of voters voted for BJP and JDU in the name of Nitish Kumar. So I think BJP got a sense on the ground that at this moment, if you don't support Nitish Kumar as the chief minister, maybe things would be very, very different, and BJP may not be able to form the government because JDU might withdraw support from BJP. That was the time why I think at that moment BJP had no choice but to support Nitish Kumar as the chief minister. But the way he has been treated time and again on various occasions, giving him a sense that he is on the mercy of BJP by small leaders of BJP, various kinds of BJP leadership. I think he has felt a lot of unease during last couple of years since he became the chief minister after 2020 assembly elections. So I think he has been he has a sense of being insulted time and again, and I think tomorrow may be the D-Day for Nitish Kumar, and a big decision might come out after tomorrow's legislative party meeting.
Okay. Dr. Anshul Avijit, can Congress really trust Nitish Kumar, someone who walked out on them and the RJD, the Mahagathbandhan in 2017, by leveling the kind of charge that he did against Tejaswi Yadav, said that Tejaswi Yadav has brought taint to his cabinet. How will he be able to forgive that taint or wash away those stains?
No, it's not a question of washing away stains. I mean, these are old friends. The relationship between the Congress and the JDU itself, if you remember, rather the Rajad is, they were together in UPA 1, then they fell out in UPA 2, and then they got back together. It's a complex relationship. The point is that we've been together, we've worked together, we're old friends. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. This kind of tanav that we see, the anxiety that we see between the parties.
Old friends ho gaye. If anything, it is the BJP JDU alliance which has been functioning for over 15 years. Where did this friendship come in all of a sudden?
No, I mean, we worked together. We were there before 2017. Look, I don't know what's going to happen in the future. We did not engineer the kind of contradictions that we see. Sanjay is absolutely right. We saw it first in 2020, where if you remember, in Dak Bangla Chauraha and Fraser Road in Patna, there were huge hoardings saying of the Prime Minister alone, saying Bhajpa hai to bharosa hai. There was no Nitish Kumar in sight. It was almost as if to suggest that Nitish was incidental, a marginal figure in the election of 2020. Those were the contradictions and the anxieties that existed from then on. They've continued till then, whether it's on ideological issues of CAA, of special status to Bihar, of Hindu-Muslim, or any other reason. They've came to a fore during Agnipath. The kind of words that were exchanged, Mr. Sanjay Paswan says that I've been attacked by the administration, and Mr. Lalan Singh said, no, you've lost your balance. This is the kind of accusations that were exchanged. No, we were on the ring side watching these crossfire. We are not a part of that. But we cannot abide by the BJP, you know that.
But the question is, can RJD trust Nitish Kumar? Can the Congress trust Nitish Kumar? Mayank ji, मुझे ये बताइए, अगर आपके घर में टेंशन होता है, क्योंकि अगर अलायंस है तो घर की बात है, अगर भाजपा और जदयू में टेंशन है, तो आप वो अलायंस पब्लिकली जाकर के सॉल्व करेंगे या प्राइवेटली सॉल्व करेंगे?
No, we are running a government in the state of Bihar with our alliance partner JDU, with BJP. So there is no conflict between the JDU and BJP in the state of Bihar. It is created by the total drama created by the media, and we are the intact in the Bihar.
Okay.
There is no issue in the state of the Bihar for we are running a government. It's a strong government in the state of Bihar. We have no issue regarding for that.
Okay. So you are saying that all is well in that alliance between the BJP and JDU. Then why?
All is well.
Okay. Then why is Lalan Singh so angry? Why is he so, why is he so fiery against RCP Singh?
No, RCP Singh is the past. He is not in the JDU. He is not in the active member of the JDU or the primary member of the JDU. He is the past. He is past.
So all is well in the alliance is a message. Is a message that is coming from JDU after a full day of all the versions that have come from both the sides, including Lalan Singh's version in which he has targeted RCP Singh, the manner in which it has. Chandrachud Singh, if it was about precipitating a crisis, why did Nitish Kumar skip that crucial meeting of NITI Aayog? Are we reading too much into it? Because at the same time, he was present at a Handloom Day event in Patna and was participating in it. Prime Minister Narendra Modi was addressing the NITI Aayog Governing Council meeting. That optics. Was Nitish Kumar trying to send a message to alliance partner BJP?
See, Maria, it's so amusing to hear some of the political spokespersons. I can't see them, but I can really hear them. It's important that we go back to 2020 and see what happened then. Normally, coalitions happen either on ideological compatibility, I'm saying stable coalitions, or if there's a party which is a big party and requires the support of some critical number, and the critical number party would therefore throw tantrums and the bigger party has to accept it. Now, neither of the two things happened in 2020. And yet Nitish Kumar and BJP came together primarily because both needed them. Both needed each other. Today, none of them need each other because the BJP wanted to create a strong social base in Bihar, which they knew what had happened in the election before because the Mahagathbandhan experiment was already there. So they knew that they have to build a broad social coalition of OBC and the lower OBC votes, and which is what they have been doing. Now, because they have to get into an election, they have to be in an oppositional mood because the BJP does opposition politics far better than any other political party. So therefore, looking to the 2019, this is exactly what they did in UP. So riding high on the wave of the UP, where there were the mathematical calculations, cemented over by the politics of religion, polarization, what if you may call it.
While I understand the BJP has, expanded its footprints and it has become a broader party
Yes.
in terms of its social coalition in Bihar. But what does Nitish Kumar actually achieve if he is to break this alliance tomorrow?
Well,
What will he achieve?
He achieves nothing, because remember, there's no second line leadership in his party, and therefore he has to go back. If he at all wants to retain power, the only thing that he could do is to cobble up again some kind of a working majority by looking here and there. Because remember, both the RJD and the JDU, caste-based parties as they are, they will eventually try and consolidate themselves. That's the only way that they can try and at least project an attempt to stop the BJP's march ahead. So, this was a politics of convenience. This was bound to break.
Yes,
and it has
I'm just
broken, or
saying
it
that
will break tomorrow.
on one hand, Nitish Kumar says that he believes in secularism, then he does some alliance, then he walks out of that alliance. I think if anything, his entire political career has been checkered with conveniences. Naveen Upadhyay, when you look at these moves, are you of the opinion that Nitish Kumar will indeed break out of the alliance, or are you of that opinion that this is some kind of muscle flexing that he is doing with the alliance partner BJP?
See, first of all, I will say it is not, all is not well. I mean, the way the people are claiming, some people, that is all is well. I mean, if it's all is well, last 6 months, if you look at Bihar, every day the headlines are there whether Nitish Kumar will stay or not stay. I mean, the state is not functioning. There is no governance, and in that case, Nitish Kumar has to take a call, because you see, you also realize, I have been talking to a lot of JDU leaders, and their calculation is whatever happens, BJP would like to continue with this alliance because of the parliamentary election. And after parliamentary election is over, Nitish Kumar is of no use to them. So Nitish Kumar is aware of this fact. If he has to take a call, he has to take this call now, so that there is ample time before the parliamentary election, and so that he can strengthen his party's base. First of all, this is one thing. And that is why, if you see, he has distanced himself from BJP top leadership, all functions, Prime Minister's this President swearing in, and NITI Aayog's meeting and everything, Secondly, there are talks. You talk to anybody, anyone in the JDU, and they are saying they are in possession of very concrete evidences, including audio tapes, where attempts have been made. It shows the attempts have been made to break the JDU. So I think there is a complete trust deficit.
Okay.
JDU leaders feel that a Maharashtra can be repeated in
Okay,
Bihar.
Mayank Kumar Sinha, is there trust deficit between the BJP JDU?
First, I explained to you regarding for not attending the meeting of the NITI Aayog. I must be clear to our other members, he just recovered the COVID-19, and there is some precaution measures to avoid the distance travel. So he is not attend the NITI Aayog meeting.
Okay, so it was more of logistics, that's what you're saying? Logistical issues there?
He just recovered from the COVID-19.
Yes.
And
Today
he was long distance.
Today he was attending the Janata Darbar. Janata Darbar mein aaj the wo.
It is the part of the local program of our government, and it is in the state of Bihar, in Patna. Delhi is far away from Patna, na? So I repeatedly told you he is required to traveling the distance. So that's why he will not attend the NITI Aayog meeting.
Okay.
Why you think this issue is bigger?
Okay, so there is no question.
If he is well, he attend the meeting.
Okay, so you are saying that there is nothing more to him skipping the NITI Aayog meeting. But Mayank ji, ये मुझे बताइए कि नीतीश कुमार और आरजेडी के संबंध कैसे हैं? और उपेंद्र कुशवाहा नीतीश कुमार के मैसेज लेकर के लालू जी के पास क्यों गए थे लास्ट मंथ?
कब?
लास्ट मंथ जो बैठक हुई है.
कब गए थे?
वो तो आप अपने नेता से पता करिएगा. मुझे बस ये जानना है कि उनके और नीतीश कुमार जी और तेजस्वी यादव के संबंध कैसे हैं?
देखिए, I have already told to you कि we are running the government with our alliance partner BJP. ठीक है. और जो भी आप लोग ये मीडिया के द्वारा जो भी क्रिएशन किया जा रहा है कि क्या चल रहा है नहीं चल रहा है, अभी हम सरकार में हैं और जेडीयू बीजेपी की सरकार है. बीजेपी और जेडीयू की सरकार स्थिर चल रही है. किसी बड़े लीडर ने कोई बयान दिया है क्या कि हम गठबंधन तोड़ रहे हैं?
ललन सिंह के बयान को क्या आप छोटे नेता का बयान मानेंगे? जेडीयू के अध्यक्ष हैं।
बड़े लीडर्स ने बयान दिया, किसने बयान दिया? आदरणीय जो राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष है उसने, उन्होंने कुछ बोला है क्या कि हम अलायंस से बाहर जा रहे हैं या अलायंस तोड़ रहे हैं? ऐसा कोई बयान आया है? ऐसा कि उन्होंने बयान दिया है क्या? मुझे ये बताइए। उन्होंने तो कुछ नहीं बोला है। उन्होंने तो सिर्फ ये बताया है कि
नवीन उपाध्याय इसका जवाब देंगे। जो प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस हुई थी उसमें क्या क्या बोला है उन्होंने, सब लोगों को पता है। नवीन उपाध्याय जी बताइए, उनको रिमाइंड करिए कि क्या बोला है ललन सिंह जी ने।
ललन सिंह जी ने एक चीज बहुत स्पष्ट रूप से कहा कि देयर इज ए कॉन्स्पिरेसी टू वीकेन आर जेडीयू। उन्होंने कहा कि चिराग मॉडल की चर्चा उन्होंने की और नहीं, उन्होंने कहा कि चिराग मॉडल 2 की तैयारी चल रही है और इसको हम लोग एक्सपोज करेंगे। तो उनका तो स्पष्ट इशारा था बीजेपी पर। उन्होंने स्पष्ट रूप से कहा कि वो लोग किसी भी हालत में यूनियन कैबिनेट काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स
बीजेपी का नाम लिया गया था क्या?
नहीं लिया।
बीजेपी पॉलिटिकल पार्टी का नाम लिया गया था क्या?
नहीं, तो आप ये बता सकते हैं कि किसी
भी पॉलिटिकल पार्टी का उसमें नाम लिया गया था क्या?
नहीं, चिराग मॉडल
कुछ भी बोल दे रहे हैं। राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष जी ने ये बोला कि कॉन्स्पिरेसी की गई थी, चिराग फैक्टर को लेके उन्होंने बताया था। किसी पॉलिटिकल पार्टी का उन्होंने नाम नहीं लिया।
ऑन गोइंग कॉन्स्पिरेसी के बारे में वो बोले और उन्होंने कहा इसको एक्सपोज करेंगे।
ये सच्चाई है कि आदरणीय नीतीश कुमार जी ही नेता है और आदरणीय नीतीश कुमार जी ने आरसीपी सिंह को बनाया था। आरसीपी सिंह नेता नहीं थे, आईएएस ऑफिसर थे और वो जब आए एंट्री में तब हमारे यहाँ कार्यकर्ता बने। आरसीपी सिंह लीडर नहीं थे, वो एक आईएएस अधिकारी थे। तो जब आए तो नीतीश कुमार जी ने उनको बनाया था, नीतीश जी ने उनको राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष का पद दिया था। सब कुछ तो नीतीश जी ने उनको दिया है। आज जब उनका सत्ता चला गया, आज जब वो केंद्र मंत्री हट गए, ठीक है, रिपीट नहीं हुए राज्यसभा, तो उनको अपने सत्ता गंवाने का ये मलाल है कि उनको क्या था।
आप मेरे एक चीज का कृपया जवाब देंगे। आज सारे न्यूज़पेपर्स में दिल्ली के और पटना के एक न्यूज छपी हुई है कि नीतीश कुमार ने सोनिया गांधी जी से बात की। क्या ये सही है या गलत है? क्योंकि अगर ये गलत रहती तो हम नीतीश जी को बहुत सालों से जानते हैं। नहीं, ये सारे न्यूज
सोनिया गांधी जी एक बड़ी लीडर है। अगर हो सकता है कि नीतीश कुमार जी का हालचाल पूछी हो, तबीयत खराब था उनका, इसमें कौन सी एक बहुत बड़ी बात है कि कोई भी पॉलिटिकल पार्टी।
चलिए, हालचाल के लिए पॉलिटिकल कर्टसी की आप बात करते हैं। अंशुल अभिजीत, ये पॉलिटिकल कर्टसी की बात हुई है।
No, I'm not going to talk about any presumed call. What I'm going to say is that this is not just disagreement between two parties, the BJP and the JDU. This is deep-rooted antagonism. You should have heard Sanjay Jaiswal ji's comments against the JDU leadership during the Agnipath. He said that I've been targeted, and this is not happening anywhere throughout India, where I rang up the fire station and they said, no, we don't have permission, we don't have this. He specifically said that I have been targeted when I'm a part of this government. Okay. And the reply by Mr. Lalan Singh was that, listen, this lost its balance. This does not happen between just mere disagreement. This is nothing superficial about it. This is deep-rooted antagonism between
while you talk about antagonism, but let's not forget, whatever said and done, that is the functioning government in Bihar. सरकार नीतीश कुमार भाजपा के साथ ही चला रहे हैं, आरजेडी और कांग्रेस उसमें नहीं है। जो महागठबंधन की बात थी उन्होंने 2017 में तोड़ दिया है, और जब 2020 का चुनाव था वो भाजपा के साथ ही चुनाव लड़े हैं। तो it's not going to be just a cakewalk that Nitish Kumar can just walk out of one alliance and then enter into another alliance and then walk out of another alliance. I mean, are we looking at just politics of multiple U-turns here, Sanjay Kumar? Nitish Kumar's own credibility is also on question. While we look at what you say, alliance partner not treating him well, but how do you look at Nitish Kumar's own politics? Can he continue to justify the multiple U-turns?
No, I think he can't find any excuse to justify his multiple U-turns. We know that when Nitish Kumar became the chief minister of Bihar, he was referred as Sushashan Babu, and later on he is being nicknamed as Paltu Chacha. So that tag is already with him, and with his U-turns, I don't think these U-turns is going to help him build his image further. His image is going to see a further decline. We must also realize that Nitish Kumar doesn't have has the same stature as it used to be, say 10-15 years ago. His popularity is on the decline, and if he takes the U-turn tomorrow or day after, whenever that moment comes, I think his image is going to dent further. But I think his choice is whether to suffer one more dent in his image or suffer day-to-day humiliation remaining the Chief Minister of Bihar.
Okay, Chandrachud Singh, are we, while we look at Nitish Kumar's moves, one thing is very clear that nobody knows his moves because he is known to be give surprises. So what are we going to see tomorrow? You'll be making some guesses. But again, as I say, do you think 2022 can be as smooth as 2017? When Nitish Kumar walked out of alliance with Mahagathbandhan partners, another moment he was in government, continuing as the Chief Minister, then with the BJP. This time, the BJP is an assertive partner. It's an assertive political force. Do you think it will be easy for him to just walk out of an alliance with the BJP?
No, this is where he is in a fix. Because if you look to the BJP has very clearly made inroads, or at least attempted to make inroads, riding pillion to Nitish Kumar or many other regional parties as it has done. But what it does is it tries and consolidate itself. It creates its booth level workers using whatever little power that it gains by having those kind of coalitions or having entry into the power structure. Or else look at it, the Prime Minister has a national image. Look at the organization of the party. Look at the fact that the BJP is the second largest party in Bihar, and yet it accepts a junior role for itself. That basically was a plan. Nitish Kumar fell into that trap, and now that he's in the trap, as Sanjay has said, it's very difficult for him if he takes it's kind of a situation. It's between the devil and the deep sea. If he continues, he will be continued to be humiliated, to say. And if he decides to go away, remember, the RJD will be the laughing third party in that case. So therefore, he's got into that trap. God knows how he'll get out of it.
Okay, Naveen Upadhyay, help me understand, how can Lalu Yadav trust Nitish Kumar again? Simple reason, both sides have too many dilemmas here. There are several unanswered questions. Nitish Kumar in 2017 said he doesn't want to be associated with so-called tainted Tejasvi Yadav. There is that corruption baggage that is associated with the RJD. And the question is that the RJD MLAs won only because they were opposing JDU, opposing Nitish Kumar. Do you think it will be easy for them to come together?
Not at all.
See, I don't think Lalu Prasad Yadav has anything to lose. I mean, there is no question of not having trust. I mean, because.
But what does he gain?
He gains everything. You see, as far as I understand, I think the sort of talks which have been going on, that Nitish Kumar will continue as Chief Minister in 2025, and then he will Tejasvi Yadav will be projected as the Chief Minister. Today, Lalu Prasad Yadav is in opposition, so he gains nothing. But if he comes to the power, then I think he has everything to gain if they are sharing power again with JDU. First thing. Secondly,
how will he convince his MLAs?
I think the MLAs will have no problem. I don't see anybody has any problem in his party, because his party is ideologically opposed to BJP, and if they can dislodge BJP from power, I think they will be only too happy. First thing. Second thing, Lalu Yadav always believes, very strongly that BJP must be dislodged from national politics. I mean, in the center. And for that, I think they will think if they can form an alliance in Bihar, it will be a very formidable alliance. And then they can stop BJP in Bihar. Once you stop BJP in Bihar, which is a very large state, it can have its ramification on Indian politics. So I think neither the Congress nor the...
interestingly, Naveen Upadhyay ji, the axis that used to be the power center of Bihar, UP, 120 MPs, that has shifted completely. It is no longer Bihar. Unfortunately, in all these years, Bihar Chief Minister has ensured that the entire narrative around development projects of Bihar has also drained out. So I'm not too sure as to what is this axis that we keep talking about. Bihar doesn't have that political clout that it used to have. It's no longer there. Let's accept it. I'm going to have a piece of breaking news, and I'm going to go back to the JDU spokesperson in just a bit. Let's have this breaking news now. Sources are telling CNN News 18 that consensus has been reached with Congress legislators that if Nitish Kumar walks out of the alliance, then Congress will give unconditional support. Instructions have been given that to MLAs to stay united, and Congress has invited Nitish to leave NDA and join Mahagathbandhan. Saurav is joining me on the phone line. So Saurav, what exactly was this meeting where all this decision has been taken?
Yes, Maria, actually this meeting was scheduled for tomorrow, but today the MLAs from different districts started arriving at Patna, and it was decided that Ajit Sharma, who is the leader of opposition for Congress in Bihar Assembly, he had called each and every MLA who had reached to Patna, and most of them had a meeting with him, and it was decided, and it was a consensus that the Congress party is going to support Nitish Kumar if he is going to join hands with the RJD and the Mahagathbandhan. So this was expected, as we had talked to the Congress president earlier in the day, and he said that that Congress is always ready for a united opposition, and then if Nitish Kumar is ready to join them, then he is going to welcome it. So today the meeting was it was a brief meeting, but the consensus has been made that, and it is finally decided that if Nitish Kumar comes and join hands with the Mahagathbandhan, then Congress is going to support Nitish Kumar in this.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. Mayank ji, कैसे देख रहे हैं इस डेवलपमेंट को आप?
कोई डेवलपमेंट, कोई भी पॉलिटिकल पार्टी अपना कार्यक्रम करता है, किसी से बैठक करता है, तो उसमें हम लोगों को क्या लेना देना है? हम लोग की सरकार चल रही है बीजेपी और जेडीयू की, हिंदुस्तानी मोर्चा की, सभी पॉलिटिकल पार्टी का। अभी तो बीजेपी का कुछ दिन पहले रैली हुआ, सभी पॉलिटिकल पार्टी को अपना अधिकार है कि वो अपना कार्यक्रम करें, विधायकों की बैठक करें, कार्यकर्ताओं से मिलें। इसमें कोई डेवलपमेंट क्या है? इसमें वो सबका पॉलिटिकल पार्टी का अपना एजेंडा है, वो काम करें।
All right, thank you so much for joining us. Mayank Kumar Sinha, Chandrachud Singh, Naveen Upadhyay, Sanjay Kumar and Dr. Anshul Avijit. The JDU spokesperson there vehemently and strongly denying that there are fissures in that alliance with the BJP. Shifting focus to another story now. Days after BJP leader Shrikant Tyagi was booked for hurling abuses and assaulting a woman in Noida's Grand Omax society after she objected to his encroachment of the common area, the state government's bulldozer justice has been delivered. Police officials reached the society along with bulldozers earlier today and razed Tyagi's illegal construction. This comes after 6 to 7 of his supporters turned up at the housing complex on Sunday and shouted slogans trying to seek the address of the alleged victim. Following the ruckus, a police team reached the spot and detained the politician's supporters. Tyagi is currently absconding. His lawyer has filed a surrender application in Noida's Surajpur court. The police has also declared a 25,000 rupees bounty and has said it will slap the Gangster Act if Tyagi does not surrender in the next 2 days, adding that all his illegal properties will be impounded. While the BJP tries to distance itself from Shrikant Tyagi, saying he is not a member of the BJP, the absconder claims to be a member of the BJP's Kisan Morcha and has posted multiple photos of him with senior BJP leaders. The question remains, why is it taking so long for the Uttar Pradesh police to find Tyagi? Are they dragging their feet? Before we get the guess, here's what happened today.
Bulldozer justice at Noida's Omax Grand Housing Society Monday morning. The crackdown on encroacher and abuser and alleged interstate gangster won Shrikant Tyagi. Fellow residents celebrated a crackdown at last. The bulldozer action, based on a series of incidents and complaints, was followed by raids and even demolitions at several of Tyagi's properties and by several government departments. Tyagi himself had absconded.
You can see that all the action has begun and the tiles are being broken right now, and everything from the scratch will be destroyed over here, which is part of the illegal encroachment.
क्या हो गया भाई साहब? अरे आराम से सर, आराम से.
It seemingly started here last Wednesday. At first sight, a neighborhood brawl over encroachment by a resident. It takes on proportions of ugly abuse and threats against a woman. This video from the Omax Grand Society in Noida had gone viral on Friday. Shrikant Tyagi was booked for intimidation, indecency, molestation and more. And then on Sunday evening, 6 of some 15 goons sent to Omax by Tyagi were arrested for creating a ruckus. It turns out Tyagi's armed goons had been harassing residents here for years. Action long overdue, say women residents here.
कभी भी कुछ भी एक्शन लिया ही नहीं नोएडा अथॉरिटी ने, जो कि आज इन्होंने लिया है. तो ये घटना तब हो जानी चाहिए थी. चलिए, हर चीज का वक्त होता है, तो अभी हो गया, बहुत अच्छी बात है.
Some of his goons behind bars, but the man himself remained out of reach of police clutches, even after a bounty in his name. And it had taken local MP Mahesh Sharma stepping in for police action against goons of a gangster who'd been making life hell for years now.
जब कुमार को फोन किया, जब रणविजय को, तब यहाँ पुलिस आई है. मेरे जिलाध्यक्ष, हम यहाँ पर हैं. हमें शर्मिंदगी महसूस हो रही है ये कहते हुए हमारी सरकार. पता करिए उनसे कि 15 लड़के कैसे इस सोसाइटी में अपनी समझती, इससे बड़ी शर्म की बात नहीं हो सकती.
Then the bigger picture, and whether Shrikant Tyagi's political connections meant a long rope for him from the law. The opposition is on the offensive.
एक श्रीकांत त्यागी नहीं है. जहां जहां प्रदेशों में भाजपा का राज है, वहां हर गली, हर गांव, हर आबादी में तमाम श्रीकांत त्यागी हैं जो भाजपा का झंडा लगाकर और यहाँ तो उत्तर प्रदेश सरकार का स्टिकर लगाकर भय और आतंक पैदा किए. आज उनका अवैध निर्माण गिराया जा रहा है. मैं पूछना चाहता हूँ, ये अवैध निर्माण जब हो रहा था तो रोका क्यों नहीं गया? लिखित कंप्लेन हुई, उसके बाद भी कार्रवाई क्यों नहीं हुई?
Big questions jump out. Was a small-time gangster deliberately being given a free run? Why so long to nab a direct menace to the common man?
Let me bring in my guests. Alok Awasthi is spokesperson of UP BJP. Yashwardhan Azad, former IPS officer. Preksha is a resident of Grand Omax Housing Society of Noida. I'm going to begin with you, Alok ji. मुझे ये बताइए, why did Shrikant Tyagi get a free run? अभी तक पुलिस पकड़ क्यों नहीं पाई है उनको?
देखिए मारिया जी, जिस समय ये घटना हुई उसी समय संज्ञान में हमारे लोगों के आ गया था. वहाँ पर हमारे लोकल लीडर्स गए थे, मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट गए थे, बाकी पुलिस भी हम लोगों ने वहाँ पे भेजी थी. और अब जो है उसके ऊपर 25,000 रुपये का इनाम रखा है हम लोगों ने. और ऐसे लोगों का समाज में कोई स्थान नहीं है. इस तरह से महिला अस्मिता के ऊपर प्रहार करने वालों के लिए भारतीय जनता पार्टी सरकार बहुत सख्त है. हमने उसके इनलीगल कंस्ट्रक्शन को गिराया है, उसकी जितनी भी और प्रॉपर्टीज़ है उसको सूचीबद्ध किया है, गैंगस्टर एक्ट लगाया है, उसकी सारी प्रॉपर्टीज़ को जब्त किया जाएगा, उसकी जितनी भी अवैध संपत्तियां हैं उनको जब्त किया जाएगा और ध्वस्त किया जाएगा. योगी आदित्यनाथ जी को दूसरा कार्यकाल जनता ने इसलिए दिया था कि योगी आदित्यनाथ जी ने अपने कार्यकाल में एक भी दंगा नहीं होने दिया, एक भी आतंकवादी घटनाएं नहीं होने दी हैं और इस तरह के गुंडों को उनकी जगह दिखाई है.
आलोक जी, 50 घंटे से ऊपर हो गए.
मैं कहना चाहता हूँ
50 घंटे से ऊपर हो गए.
देखिए, मैं आप
अभी भी श्रीकांत त्यागी ओमैक्स में घुस करके उसके गुंडे लोगों को धमका रहे हैं. वो कैसे हो रहा है? आपकी सरकार है
मारिया जी. मारिया जी, उसके पीछे पुलिस की 8 टीमें लगी हैं और जिन लोगों की पुलिस की ड्यूटी वहां लगाई गई थी उनकी जो यहाँ पे अनियमितता पाएगी, वो आदमी घुसे कैसे, उसके लिए 6 लोगों को वहां सस्पेंड किया गया है. तो ऐसा नहीं, हमारी सरकार कार्रवाई कर रही है और लगातार उसको ढूंढने में लगी है. सरकार ने ये वादा किया जनता से कि हम एक भी अपराधी को छोड़ेंगे नहीं और इस तरह के अपराधी जो सिविल सोसाइटी पे हमला करेंगे.
ग्रैंड ओमैक्स satisfied with these actions?
This is just the beginning. What happened today morning, it's a welcome move, something that we've been waiting for many years. And believe me, had this been done way back in 2020, when the demolition order had already been issued by Noida authority, we wouldn't have been seeing this day. Our friend wouldn't have been, going through all of these things. But having said that, anyhow, whatever happened today, it's a welcome move, but this is just the beginning. We want more. We want him to be, he should be behind the bars. And frankly, all of us are really, really scared that suppose, he surrenders, maybe he gets a bail, comes back here, again starts with all of his tamasha and drama, what he has been doing for so many years. We are terrorized. And, I would like to also mention here that the women here, we are feeling so unsafe. Today, the women of Omax, we have formed a WhatsApp group amongst ourselves, Women Emergency. And this group is specially for these situations like these. If anything like this happens with anyone, they can just put an SOS call on that WhatsApp group and we will definitely be there. So
that
you
sense
can
of
imagine
fear,
the amount of
that sense of fear, Yashwardhan Azad, how do you assure that woman who was brave enough to put up and she stood strong and with a smile on her face, she made him understand what he was doing was wrong and completely unacceptable. She did not abuse him and he went ahead and threatened her.
I admire her courage, and it's very sad to hear from the lady resident about the scare and about the gundagardi which this gentleman was doing for the last was committing for the last few years. And actually, Maria, the problem is very, very basic, as you understand very well, and what has been happening in this country. It's not only this ruling party, any ruling party in any state. The police tends to hesitate to take any action against them. As rightly said by her, the Noida authority had given the notice about 2 years back. But in these cases like this, you don't even need a notice because these are, encroachments right over public space. And for that, so even Supreme Court has said you don't need any notice, you can just remove them. So obviously under pressure this has been done. But I'm happy that the action has been solid, number one. As far as the fear of the ladies are concerned,
yes.
I would certainly assure them that now, because this has been come to the attention of the Chief Minister himself and the government itself, he will dare not do anything. And besides, he himself has filed an application for surrender. So he's actually on the run. 2 policemen have already been put as escort. And I think Omax will be in the eye of the police station chief who has just been posted over there. In that respect, I think it has come late, but thank God it has come.
Okay, आलोक जी, जब 2 साल पहले डिमोलिशन का नोटिस दिया गया था और उन्होंने हटाया नहीं था, तो नोएडा के जिस ऑफिसर ने उनको ये कंटिन्यू करने दिया था, उनके खिलाफ भी एक्शन हुआ है. लेकिन जो फियर प्रेक्षा की बात, जिसकी बात प्रेक्षा कर रही हैं, जो भय की बात वो कर रही हैं, आप विश्वास कैसे दिलाएंगे? ये लोग इन लोगों में एक अजीब सा डर आ गया है कि त्यागी वापस आएंगे, जेल जाएंगे, लेकिन फिर बेल होकर के वापस आएंगे तो फिर से धमकाएंगे.
नहीं मारिया जी, मैं आपके माध्यम से जो रेजिडेंट हैं उनको ये आश्वस्त करता हूं कि हमने जिस भी बदमाश के हमने पीछे पड़े हैं उसको पूरी तरह से बर्बाद करके हमने छोड़ा है. उसकी सारी संपत्तियों को हम जो है जब्त कर लेते हैं, जो उसके अनऑथराइज कंस्ट्रक्शन होते हैं उसको हम लोग गिरा देते हैं और उस बदमाश की हिस्ट्री शीट खोल दी गई है. उसको जो है किसी हालत में बाहर अब नहीं आने देंगे. कोर्ट के ऊपर है, कोर्ट अगर लॉ उसको देता भी है तो उसकी यह हालत रहेगी कि वो दोबारा कभी झांकने भी जो है उस एरिया में नहीं जा पाएगा. यह योगी आदित्यनाथ जी की सरकार है, जब तक हम सत्ता में हैं हम इस तरह के गुंडों, खासतौर से त्यागी को, तो आप देखिएगा किसकी बुरी हत्या होगी.
I mean, how will you ensure that he doesn't enter his own house?
अभी उनकी सूची
He has his apartment there.
क्या नाम मारिया जी, गैंगस्टर एक्ट के तहत पुलिस के पास एक कानूनी अधिकार है कि वह किसी की संपत्ति को जब्त कर सकती है अगर वह अवैध रूप से कमाई गई है. उनसे सवाल जवाब होंगे. अगर इस तरह की चीजें पाई गई कि ये अवैध संपत्ति से लिया गया है तो निश्चित रूप से वो फ्लैट भी उनका कुल्क किया जाएगा, उनको सुपुर्दगी में नहीं मिलेगा. और मुझे लगता है कि त्यागी आज जो है जो डराता था लोगों को, आज वो खुद डर के भाग रहा है. ये बहुत बड़ी बात है. और आपको पता है कि उत्तर प्रदेश की पुलिस इस मामले में बहुत सख्त है। बड़े बड़े माफिया हो, चाहे आतिक अहमद रहे हो, चाहे मुख्तार अंसारी रहे हो, इस प्रदेश से भाग गए थे। 2-2 साल तक कांग्रेस के मेहमान बनकर पंजाब की जेल में पड़े रहे, लेकिन हमने आखिरकार उनको भी बुला करके जो है हमने जहां की जेल में डाला है। और जितने भी सूचीबद्ध अपराधी हैं, 2,500 करोड़ रुपए की संपत्तियों को जब्त किया है, इनके गैंग को सब कुछ छिन्न भिन्न किया है और कई लोगों को इनकाउंटर में मार के गिराया है। तो ये पुलिस का रिकॉर्ड है और योगी आदित्यनाथ की सरकार है और एक ईमानदार मुख्यमंत्री है। 24 घंटे जो है जनता की सेवा के लिए रहता है। उसका अपना कोई परिवार नहीं है। कोरोना में भी उनके पिता की डेथ हुई थी, वो कोरोना में अपने पिता को देखने नहीं गए।
Right from the top, that is the top government officer, that is from the UP government, is that there is zero tolerance. That is the message that is coming from Yogi Adityanath. Would you not say that yes, it may be delayed, but it has finally happened? So does that give you some confidence perhaps?
Yes, listening to the conversation, yes, I can see some hope, but let's see. I mean, the next couple of days, how they unfold is when we'll be more confident, and I can say this more confidently. Okay, I'm feeling safe now. We all are feeling safe now.
Okay. What about that lady resident? Is she feeling, in control perhaps? That fear that you keep talking about, all of you are fearful about his return, but all of you have supported her. The entire civil society in many ways stands with her. The government of UP is now standing with her, with the demolition being carried out of the illegal encroachment of Mr. Tyagi. Do you think she feels that the battle that she undertook, she has been able to achieve victory in it?
Not yet. Not yet. We are not there yet. This is, like I said, how the next couple of days unfold, how the surrender game comes in. And correct me if I'm wrong, I heard somewhere that the Gangster Act will be slabbed if he does not surrender in the next 2 days. So the act has not been slabbed yet. Please correct me if I'm wrong. So, really, I mean,
this skepticism.
Yes, I mean, I'm still skeptical. Things are being said. And, thank you for saying all of this. At least maybe tonight I'll be able to sleep better. But we really don't know.
Okay.
At least unless he surrenders, how things unfold on 10th when the case is up for hearing. So only then we'll probably feel slightly better. But definitely not today. Not today.
Okay. Yashvardhan Azad, I'll give you the final words.
First of all, there should be no scare from him because he himself is on the run and he's about to surrender. He has filed an application. Number two, these are lumpens. You don't even need a gangster act against him. He should be treated with the contempt he deserves. He should be caught. The cases should be prosecuted. All the sections which are there from 354 to 506 to all other sections have been arraigned against him. He should be properly prosecuted and he should get a jail sentence. I think that should be good. It's very encouraging to see that the government has come behind this lady. And I think the ladies of this Omax residential area should feel satisfied and should feel safe now.
आलोक अवस्थी जी, आप कुछ बोलना चाह रहे थे?
मारिया जी, हाँ मारिया जी, मैं आपके माध्यम से जो हमारी रेजिडेंट बैठी हैं
जी,
और मैं खास तौर से उन महिला रेजिडेंट को मैं मेरे मन में बहुत इज्जत है कि वो इतने बड़े जो गाली बकरा है, गुंडा है, जो डिक्लेयर गुंडा है, उससे सामने उनको जो लड़ाई लड़ी है और खड़ी हुई है, मैं उनको सलाम करता हूँ। पहली बात। दूसरी बात, मैं एश्योर करता हूँ रेजिडेंट्स को कि सरकार जो है पूरी तरीके से उनके साथ में है। कहीं पर भी किसी की अब हिम्मत नहीं पड़ेगी कि वहां पर कोई किसी तरह की हरकत कर सके। उस महिला के परिवार को 2 सिक्योरिटीज दी गई हैं, जरूरत पड़ेगी तो हम और सिक्योरिटीज भी प्रोवाइड करेंगे। लेकिन जो बदमाश को, जिसको हमने बात कही है और आजाद जी जो कह रहे हैं, उसके ऊपर गैंगस्टर एक्ट लगा है और उसके क्योंकि उसके केस कुछ और केस पाए गए हैं, 6 लोगों को और जो है डिटेन करके आपने जेल में भेजा है, तो उसका एक पूरा गैंग बन गया है और निश्चित रूप से उसको तबाह करेंगे, उसको जो है सजा दिलाने का काम करेंगे। ये हम आपको वादा करते हैं।
ऑल राइट, थैंक यू सो मच प्रेक्षा। More power to women in your society. Thank you so much for your time, Yashvardhan Azad and Alok Avasthi. Shifting focus to our last story on News Epicenter. It's been a dream run for the Indian contingent at the Commonwealth Games with 3 gold medals in badminton and 1 in table tennis. First, it was 2-time Olympic medalist PV Sindhu who defeated the 2014 Commonwealth Games gold medalist Michelle Lee of Canada in straight games. Then it was the turn of former world junior number 1 Lakshya Sen, who beat Malaysia's NT Yong in a thriller. Minutes later, the men's duo of Chirag Shetty and Ranki Reddy won the historic gold by beating their English counterparts. Veteran table tennis legend Sharat Kamal beat England's Liam Pitchford to clinch the gold. All those reactions coming after a very short break. Stay with us.